Welcome to another episode of Real Estate AI Flash. And today I'm joined by Laurie McGuire from Dallas, Texas, with Dave Perry Miller Real Estate. And she is part of the Ebby Halliday Company. So I bumped into Laurie in September at their agent summit. And I think out of the close to 1,000 people in the audience, I had to go into the audience and pick out 3 people. And one of them was Laurie. So we sort of connected. And here we are as a guest, and I'd love for her to share her background. And so we're going to dive into all of that. So, Laurie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Rajeev. It was an honor to get to talk with you after the event and to have you pick me out of the group. And your presentation was amazing. Everybody's still talking about it. So
I hear you.
thank
I hear you. There's a
Thank
lot
you.
going on in AI, of course. And obviously, the listening audience today is all about wanting to learn specific things. And mostly there are agents and thought leaders in the industry that listen to our podcast. So let's start with you've been, I read your bio. You've been in the industry for so many years. Your career is, 39 years, right? So love for the audience to get a little backstory of Laurie and bring us to today.
All right. So I have been 39 years with my husband, Jim, and we have 3 grown children and 8 grandchildren. So that is my heart. I work and make money so that we can buy for them and go on vacations.
There you go.
That's my why. Anyway, and I love to help my clients, of course. I was an ER nurse for 20 years.
Wow.
And then I was a sales vice president for about a decade, but I traveled 2-3 weeks a month. And I loved it. I got to help people. I got to, negotiate, work with clients, all of that satisfaction. And then I decided I had a friend and a sister who were realtors, and they were so happy, and they didn't travel every week. And I decided to try it. Well, guess what? I could take the world of my nursing, where I listened and helped people, new, urgent, emergent, all of that, and my sales background as a vice president, and I got to go into real estate. And now I stay every night with my husband, which is a good thing, and I help people. I listen to what they need, and I go out and find it for them. And it is the best job I've ever had. I've loved all my jobs, but I really love real estate.
That's great. That's great. And so, this obviously we're going to talk a little bit, dive into AI a little bit here in terms of how you're leveraging it as a realtor. And, any transformative technology, anything we come across, everybody has their first encounter with it. You can call it the aha moment. And life is a series of aha moments, right?
Yes. Yes.
So what was your first interaction with AI that was said that kind of revealed a little bit of the potential that exists with that technology?
Well, I was in Massachusetts. It was our niece's 21st birthday, and we were at
Wow.
Amherst College, this gorgeous, old, fabulous college. And it was her birthday. So I said to ChatGPT, hey, write me a poem about Gracie's 21st birthday in this amazing college with all these mature trees and beautiful old buildings and her future ahead in education as a writer. Well, in 3 seconds, literally, there was this gorgeous poem, and I read it to her, and she loved it. And she said, that's amazing. Well, she's a writer. So then I said, write the same poem in Stephen King's voice.
Oof.
Immediately, in 3 seconds, it was on the hallowed grounds of the hills of the whatever, and the spooky, the eerie feeling, right? And then I said, okay, write it in Winnie the Pooh's voice. And it was just so cheery and bubbly, and the wind blowing the leaves as they fall, and your education on this special day of your birthday. And I mean, as a writer, she had never really used it. And that was a year ago. And she's a writer, she uses her own voice. But to hear how that worked so quickly, and my aha moment is, I try to be an A player. My time is valuable. And I want to spend time with my clients. I want to have FaceTime with them. I want to be building my business, and to use a tool that could listen to what voice, including my voice, and put it out there so I could share information. Oh my goodness. I'm like, I need to figure this out.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And since the time we met in September to now, it almost seems like a lifetime in AI because stuff changes constantly, right? It's evolving at an exponential pace while most of us are used to learning at a linear pace.
Right.
And one of the things that came out for paid ChatGPT users is the advanced voice mode, which is a live conversation in audio and not have to, because prior to that, you can still speak into it using the microphone, and it converts what you said to text, and then you submit the text, and the text comes back, and then you speak back into it. So, but now it's like live audio going back and forth, having a conversation with ChatGPT. So I think we're just starting to see the early ways of how potentially a Siri could work, where you're just talking to it and your assistant. It's like talking to a human being, right? You don't type something to a
I
human.
watched your little thing about the shift moments. I loved your name for that.
Yeah.
And even
Holy
switched it
shift,
to
holy
another
shift
language.
moment. Yeah.
Holy shift, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And
So
then
advanced voice mode is one of them. And I think
yeah.
we're starting to see early indications of how that can help realtors like yourself. So great. So, you know, and I want to understand, you mentioned a little bit about getting time back. I mean, time, all the agents I've spoken to, the number one thing they'd love to get out of AI is offload some of the work you need to do so that you can have the time to do the things you care about, right?
And I guess the second piece I'll add to that is I want excellence also, right?
Exactly.
And so AI helps me look more professional. And I'll give you an example. I have a strong voice, okay? And I would write letters to appraisers, and I had to be so careful about it because I'm like, this house is worth it, every penny. And I would have a voice that maybe was too strong. And so now, whenever I write anything, I share about what my intent is. So my voice and my intent. And I just talk to it and I say kind of what you've been saying. This is Laurie McGuire. My hashtag on Instagram is excited realtor, by the way,
Yeah.
shocking. And so I say, I'm excited realtor. I'm very positive. And I want to thank this appraiser for their value that they're coming out and the work they're doing to show such an important part of this real estate transaction process. Of course, I share all the value and the things I normally would as well in the house. It's a corner lot, it's a premium lot, it's a whatever, right?
Yeah.
But that letter that now is produced is absolutely spot on. The response I've had from appraisers, it's overwhelming. It's, usually it'd be like, thank you so much or whatever. They're like, oh, I really appreciate you mentioning that. And I mean, they feel it.
Yeah.
And
100%.
part of it is my intent and my personality. AI picks up. ChatGPT hears that, but then they do it in a professional way. So that has helped me be very, very successful. And I give it a lot of credit for it listening to my voice, my intent, and what I'm trying to accomplish.
100%. 100%. Yeah. And I think you make a good point, because a lot of us are, at least in the real estate industry, are not good copywriters. They're not writers, but
Right.
you have amazing thoughts you want to communicate. And we just talked about the audio version before. I mean, you can do this now where you actually just say, hey, I want to write an email to appraiser, and just record something, just talk to it. It'll transcribe and then generate the email.
I love it. I
Right?
love
Instead of
where
you actually typing, because most of us are good at faster talkers than typers.
I
Some of
think
us
you
are
and
like,
I are alike there, Rip.
yeah, you and I are like on another level. Yeah. So, so that's great. And I think over time, Laurie, what you'll realize is if you have the paid version of ChatGPT, you will be able to build custom GPTs, which we sort of talked briefly about on many
Yes.
of our episodes, and also at the event that we were at, where you build McGuire GPTs, like
Yeah.
for email, for whatever things you do, and it completely understands your personality. You just give it instructions and go. Like you hit
Yes.
go, and so you're at the 1 yard line already. So that's great. So you're getting value from writing, copywriting, and making it look. I love what you said when we were chatting briefly. It gives you the ability to make you look like a rock star without having to spend the time to look like a rock star, right? So
That's right.
that's a key thing. Okay, what else are you using AI for, Laurie?
So just last week, somebody on my team had an opportunity. Somebody wanted to help buy a lot for 700,000, but they wanted to build a house for 5 million on it.
Oh wow.
And so one of the things we talked about, and he did, was go on to ChatGPT and say, what are 10 things as a realtor that I can do to give excellent care to my new construction client? Now,
Mm,
of course, we know we can help, but the builder's just fine with saying, we can do this without your realtor. Put that money towards you. And there's a reason to show that value. Oh my gosh, the list was better than I would even have come up with. Of course it is, right? I had some of those things, but and so did he. but it was just a comprehensive way. And now the client's going to work with him. And it's just, I mean, that's money. That is $6
Money,
million, right?
100%.
Another thing is I started using it for charts. So I said, I was helping somebody buy a house in Frisco, Texas. And I said, please share the high school rankings in a chart for Frisco, Texas. Boom. Here they are. Now, I might use it, I might not use it, depending on what the answer is, but it shows me knowledge that I can use in my interaction with my client.
100%.
Another one is after I visit with a client, I say, here's the pros, here's the cons, put it in a chart based on what my clients told me, what their words are. And, some of my clients, they're engineers, they're architects, they're people that they need their boxes, they need their facts, they need their
Analytics. They
data.
need analytics, analytical brain. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah. 100%.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so I've used it like that several times in a lot of different ways. And just recently, I have a listing and I had people that were favorites. They hit it favorite. So reverse process prospecting, I can say that. I went in and said, hey, give me some catchy email subject lines so that an agent might open it. We get so many emails. So here were a couple. Your client is interested. Let's make a match. Hot lead alert. Your client loved this home. Their next free home. Let's make it happen. And client favorite. This property's on their radar. I mean, it's little things, but look how fast I got a response, and people have responded to it.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah, no, I think you bring up great points. I love the fact that you earned a listing and showed value for that new construction lot. I mean, 700,000 lot building a I guess everything's big in Texas, like, so they want to, but I think what you're finding this as on your own journey is our imagination is the only limitation with AI.
Absolutely.
Right. And I think the way you're leveraging it, like earning a listing, making you look and kind of mimicking your voice. So it's you, it's authentic. And even with the charts, I mean, that's a great way to demonstrate value quickly and get it in a format that your clients love, which is if you're an engineer, you want like charts and stuff like that. The other way, I don't know if you've tried this, but this is another thing that you can think about, Laurie, is if let's say you have websites you trust, right? We all have like, school ratings, whatever. And they may not have the chart, but all the data is on that page. You can give ChatGPT a prompt, hey, review this web page, give it the link, and build a chart from this web page.
Oh, I like that.
Right? So it's not like you need to have a chart or ask for a chart. You trust a source. Like Keeping Current Matters loves, wonderful graphics.
I got to write that down.
Yeah, but I'll send it to you. No worries. I'll send it to you. But I think generating images from information you trust is the key takeaway there, right? And that can be from your company website, your agent websites. If they have charts and you feel like, or if they have data, you want to convert it into charts. Or if you have charts and you want to convert it into a conversational style where you're talking to a non-engineer, all those things are doable with just one tool, right? And
I didn't say this, Rajeev, but everything that I do, I check it, right?
Yeah,
I read it because, of course, I use it for listing descriptions. I use it I'll write a social media post and then say, here's my social media post for this fabulous house. Make it better.
Yeah.
And it does. Of course 100%. It does.
And we talk about the 4 P's, right? Prime, prompt, polish, and publish.
Yes.
You just touched on the 3rd P, which is polish, because
yes.
it has to come out, and it's almost like you're writing it with an assistant.
That's right.
You're never going to take your assistant's work for granted. You're going to read it anyway, just like a human being, So ChatGPT is the same way. So,
and one more thing I want to add, I believe my purpose is to educate and train and inspire, add value, and give hope to people, right? This is who I am. And so I like to post a lot on social media. And if I learn something, I want to share it. Yeah. Or if I just have a topic. So I want to add value to my clients and to the world, right? And so I just will ask it to write an article or a small blog or a little thing for LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever. And the first time I did it for LinkedIn, it was too long because this is too long. So then I put it back into ChatGPT and I said, make it the link that is acceptable for LinkedIn. Woo! it did it. Like, of course.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, little things like I just did. What are the 6 things you could do in the fall to make your exterior of your house look nice? Boom, it was done. I picked a great fall picture and out it went. It's just adding value to the world and to my clients that are on my social media.
100%. And along with the advanced voice mode, the other feature that got released not too long ago was Canvas, ChatGPT Canvas, which is
Yeah.
currently available only for paid users, but it will come to all free users as well. Where, I mean, especially if you write a lot from ChatGPT and it writes like 3 paragraphs and you love it, except for 2 lines you needed to change. And Canvas gives you the ability to go edit that 1 line and say, rewrite this 1 line. So anyone that's writing a lot, Canvas is a game changer for writers, and that's a new mode that
I
exists.
love that. And I love the emojis, how you taught that it does emojis and even reading level.
100%. Yeah.
Like
Reading
I'm writing
level.
to children or I'm writing
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
to one of my architects, right? I want it to be a little more technically directional, or whatever. That's crazy. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just
No, I
really
mean,
crazy.
especially if you're going to write, I think Canvas is going to become the default mode for a lot of people because it lets you edit things, even in a social post. If you don't need to reprompt it, change this, versus just go in there and edit the 1 line.
Well,
So
I'm going to try this year to do my business plan. It's time to write my
yeah, it's time.
2025
It's that
business
time of the
plan.
year. Yeah.
So I'm going to see what AI and I can do together here and figure this out. But I'm excited about that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's very important to give all of the instructions up front to AI so it can come up with a personalized business plan that works for you, that delivers to your goals.
I'm one of those kind of people that my kids laugh at, but when I go to Google, I'll say, what's the name of the thing that was the other, wherever in Texas? And I ask it this crazy prompt, but I get it. It comes up. And so I do the same thing with ChatGPT. I don't worry if I'm perfect. I just start talking,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, I need something upbeat and positive and this, that, and the other. This is a real problem for a lot of people and it causes a lot of stress and I want them to know I understand their stress, but here's 3 things we can do to fix that. I just say it,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And it's amazing how close it is. I might have to tweak a little bit, of course. We talked about that, polish before we,
Yeah.
we post, but it's incredible, pretty amazing.
Yeah. And as you start to dive into your business plan, I think a good way to think about it is if you've done business plans in the past, and you may not have, then this doesn't apply. But if you did, you can upload your previous business plan so it can learn what you've done in the past. So the more data you give it before you ask it to write one, the better off you'll be. But you will be able to really dive in to building a business plan. I'd love to see it, Laurie, once you build it. So
All right, I will share it with you.
yeah,
I'll share it with you.
that'd be
I,
great.
I'm sure. I'm sure you know who Tom Ferry is.
Yes.
And I went to see him, and of course, I did coaching with them for a year. And he says, "Do not even come up and see me if you do not have Chat GPT on your phone." And when you walked up to him, you had to show him Chat GPT, or he wasn't going to talk to you. Go over there and figure it out, and come back
Come back. Well,
because
that
it's the future in real estate.
it
It
it,
just is.
it, it is. You can say it's the future, but it more looks
It's
like
the
the present.
current. It is the present. I'm
It is the
sorry. You're
present. No,
right.
no, all good, all
It's the
good.
past, it's the present, and it's the future.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So good stuff. So as we wind down, I always like to ask my guest, Laurie, you've been obviously 39 years, great family, blessed, right? With 3 kids.
Yes.
You said 3 kids, 6 grandkids? Okay.
8 grandchildren. I call them the great 8.
There we go. So, and if you were starting in real estate today, your younger self, what are some things you would teach yourself that agents hearing this podcast would love to get as a piece of advice?
I love that. I absolutely don't have to even think about it. It's go to the basics and do it every day. And so I did Taekwondo for 11 years. I'm a 3rd-degree black belt. And we had to do, so be nice. So we had to
I'm
do
glad
the
I'm on the
basics.
call with you, not in person. Yeah.
So we had to do the basics: punch, kick, block, over and over and over and over. And you get to a 1st-degree black belt. And then for 2 years, you work to refine it to get to 2nd degree. And then 3 years for 3rd degree. But you never stop practicing a punch, a kick, a block. You think about baseball players, same thing. They're pitching, they're hitting fielders. You think about basketball players. How many layups or what do you call it, foul shots do you do? And instruments, it's everything. But we don't think about it in business sometimes. So my advice to a new real estate agent is every day call 10 people and write a card or text them, right? Build that relationship nonstop with your people. Even if you just sold them a house, even if they're not buying for a year, you want to rotate that, but you got to talk to people every day. And there's certain things we have to do, and you can't just sit there and wait around. Have open houses every single weekend. If you don't have a listing, get somebody to let you. Then you're having real estate conversations. So if you're a new real estate agent, I mean this, do the basics every day, every week, and you will have success, because you can't do the right things over and over and not get the right results.
100%. You know, I've heard a statement early on in my career: if you master the basics, you never have to go back to them, because they become part of you, part of who you are. And that's a great
Because you
message.
never stop doing them. And it's true. And what's funny is you refine and improve the
Get better.
basics. You get a way to do it easier, better.
100%.
You just
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the last question I have for you is: everyone is inspired. You either read books or you listen to podcasts, and there's usually one or two books that or podcasts that have sort of made you think differently, made a bigger impact than others. So is there a book or a podcast that has deeply impacted Laurie McGuire to bring you to this point?
I'm going to give you two real quick.
Bonus.
The one is 212 Degrees. And it is a small book, but guess what this is? At 211 degrees, water's hot. At 212 degrees, it's boiling. When you have boiling water, you get steam, and a steam can power a locomotive. So the main message here is just give the extra 1%. I give above and beyond. I always try to anyway, and just do a little extra. You're done, you're tired, you're fatigued. Just do one more thing. Just give it a little extra. Just be better than the last time, and you will see a steam locomotive going down the tracks.
That's a great one. Great one. I will absolutely read that book. And I've heard that statement a lot of times, but I haven't heard the book. So we'll put a link to the book in the show notes. Laurie, it's been fun.
Can I tell you one more?
Oh, that's right. You had a second book. Go ahead.
Ninja Selling.
Yeah.
Okay. And I wrote down a couple things because there's so much in that book, but it says every day's a gift. What you focus on expands. Get with your people, real estate agents, text, call, cards. Be a player, not a victim. Don't be scarcity. Be just abundance when you're thinking. There's so many houses out there for us all. And lastly, improve your mindset, improve your skill set, and your actions will improve.
Well said, Laurie. Well said. So if you're watching this podcast and you're looking for an agent in Dallas, the Metro Dallas area, that will take care of your clients with the excitement and the energy and the value that Laurie brings, make sure you reach out to Laurie McGuire for your referral opportunities. And we'll put her contact info in the show notes so you'll have it. Laurie, this has been fun. I appreciate you, and I look forward to chatting soon.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for stretching me, encouraging me to do more and more. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.